Well, as you all know, today is Thursday, and as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing Blog Talk Radio tonight, my first show. I will be using Pastor Dowell's channel on Blog Talk, which is, of course, www.blogtalkradio.com/straightway, and that is spelled S-T-R-A-I-T way. Straightway, it's all one word. And from now on, I'm going to be doing Thursdays. I think Friday's taken because he does Fridays. And by Thursday of the week, usually we know what's going on in the week, how the markets are, you know, news, that kind of thing. My other option was Sunday, and that's not the best day to be doing Blog Talk Radio. The week's pretty much over. Everyone already knows what happens by then. So, what I'm going to probably discuss tonight, at least to start with, and yeah, I'll be taking phone calls and things like that, but I think I'm going to start with gold and silver, namely silver, but both, really. You know, I read a lot of the website, Harvey Organ's website, and he's the guy with the fine-tooth comb, with the magnifying glass, basically looking at all the numbers that are released from the COMEX, the exchanges. He knows what's going on with silver and gold. And just to give you a little hint of what we're going to be talking about on that subject tonight, as you all know, well, I say that, you may not know, in the paper market, right, precious metals, commodities, paper market, September is usually pretty much religiously a good month for silver deliveries. Therefore, the price goes up. December is also another really big month. For the most part, the second half of the year, you could say a little slightly past the second half of the year, is usually when precious metals, you know, historically anyways, have picked up, that kind of thing. But last month was August, and it is considered a non-delivery month. No one messes around with silver, basically. Deliver, you know, give me my silver. Not, you know, not in the paper markets. And for a month that was a non-delivery month, of course, due to the way precious metals are right now, there were absolutely deliveries going on. You know, quite a few. I'm not gonna say it was huge, because it wasn't, but the fact that it was going on at all in August was like, hey, people are catching on. Even the people in the paper markets, in other words. So September, on the other hand, again, today's the first day of September. Perfect timing for my first blog talk, and I'm going to be doing it live video, by the way, live video stream, like Pastor Dowell and I tested at his house on last Friday. But there currently is somewhere around 5 million ounces of silver, or contracts, if you will, but that for the amount of around 5 million ounces that is still due, still hasn't been settled upon from August. So that still has to be settled through these exchanges, through the COMEX, whatever. That's not to say that all 5 million ounces worth of silver is gonna be all settled, like, you know, demand delivery. You know, with these paper contracts, it still needs to be settled. It hasn't been settled, but a lot of times, of course, they'll settle through paper. In other words, more fiat currency paper. And there's a little zoo here this morning, isn't it? So what apparently, currently anyways, is the way it's looking, is there is around 15 or 16 million ounces right now scheduled for delivery for September. Plus you have to add in the 4 or 5 million, I think it was 5 million, maybe it was 4 million, I think it's 16 million this month that's due right now. Basically that's what the paper is showing, the data. And last month there was 4 million ounces. Together, that's 20 million ounces for the month of September, because the 4 million from before hasn't been settled yet, and it's going into September now to get settled. Therefore, it gets added to September. Therefore, we have 20 million ounces of silver to be settled upon sometime, not necessarily at the very end of the month, because usually there's a few days, sometimes into the next month, where there's, you know, final call, whatever, final time to settle. But someone had asked him, Harvey, hey, that's quite a bit of physical silver, 20 million ounces. Have you ever, and you're studying this over these many, many years, seen that kind of number for the month of, you know, in 1 month? And I don't know if he said specifically for September or just any month during the whole year. Have you ever seen that kind of silver being requested or played out on the paper exchanges that will have to be settled upon? And he said, yes, I only saw, the highest I ever saw was 25 million ounces, and it was many years ago. In other words, if you stop right now, stop the clock, go back many years ago, that's beyond the time frame I was even into silver. And I started probably in 2007, just a tiny bit in 2007, got more into it 2008, etc. So if we saw 25 million ounces back then, right now is 20 million ounces. That's close to that record of, according to him anyways, for 1 month. That's pretty close, and things are a lot different, as he said back to this comment, where he said, yeah, I saw 25 million, you know, in a month, worth, you know, 25 million ounces of silver. Of course, that was before everyone was getting it. That was also before the COMEX was sitting, you know, now is sitting at around 30 million. That's registered anyway, silver in this vaults. It was a lot higher back then also. So, you know, and as we all know, these suckers like to cook the books everywhere we go. So the chances of them saying they have 30 million ounces when really they may have 10 million or who knows how many million, the chances are good. And I'm not going to say that that's a fact, that they don't really have 32 or whatever it is million ounces currently registered, which is current public information. But based off of my research, based off of the banking system, based off of the government's system, is there a chance that they're cooking the books and lying to us? Hell yes. My money would be on that before it would not be on that, just because of the history of the government and the financial institutions, the bankers, the COMEX, everybody else. They lie. So I'm going to talk about that later on today on Blog Talk, and some other things. We'll see what other categories we get into. Now, I'm allowed 3 hours per day on Blog Talk if I schedule a show for that long. And I think even if I cut it short and decide, hey, I want to add on some more time, it would end anyways, and then I would just immediately go back into Blog Talk and then say, okay, schedule a new show, and then make it for the remaining time I have. And again, it's 3 hours per day. I don't think I'm going to do 3 hours tonight. I may do an hour and a half to start. Remember, it's 9 p.m. Eastern time, so that would be 10:30 for me getting off. You know, I like to try to get into bed by 11 o'clock anyways, if I can help it. So I could see the potential there for maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, hour to 2 hours, somewhere in between there. And we'll see what happens. You never know who's going to be calling, who's going to be in the chat room saying, talk about this, or I want to know about that. You know, you never know. I can get callers on, I can conference everybody in if we need to, all kinds of stuff. It's pretty cool. Pastor Dow hooked me up with his account and showed me how to use it, of course, briefly. So we may have a couple of technical difficulties tonight. We'll see till I get used to this. But it was looked pretty simple. I kind of followed along. You know, I think I got it under control. And you can upload sound bites to use in the show. Click on a button and one of your sound bites plays. So I'm gonna have to find a couple of sound bites that I want to play. So, anyways, I will talk to you guys later on tonight. I was thinking of doing a video or two today, namely about the silver thing. And there's another one. Someone emailed me or messaged me through YouTube about a city in the United States, a small town of only around 1,000 people, where the mayor is basically declaring, we want sovereignty from the United States of America. We want to basically disengage and be our own little entity. We're already going to start printing our own money. This is like breaking news, really. I mean, probably not going to hear much about it on the mainstream, if they'll even mention it. We'll get lucky, but I wouldn't hold my breath. So that's another interesting thing to talk about. I want to cover that tonight. And I think what I'll do is, since I'm doing this every Thursday now, if there's some worthy video, YouTube kind of thing, I might just save it. If it's Thursday like today and I read it last night or something, I may just save it for something to talk about on Blog Talk Radio. But then again, it almost doesn't matter. I could probably upload the video to YouTube and then talk about it later on Blog Talk and have people calling in and discussing things and, you know, giving their opinions on stuff and whatever. So who knows? We'll see how this goes, man. You know, it's trial and error at this point. We'll see what everybody likes, what people tell me, what kind of feedback I get. So anyways, I gotta go. Talk to y'all later tonight. Remember, 9 p.m. Eastern time is when I'm going to start. I'll put the links up to both Blog Talk in this video, as well as the link to the live video feed that I'll be doing. And remember, the live video feed is going to be audio and video, so you're going to want to turn down the volume all the way in Blog Talk's website, because you're going to hear a delay between both of us, the video and the audio, and you don't want to, you know, get all messed up trying to listen to both. But what they did at Pastor Dowell's when he did it was they would stay in the chat room and stay on Blog Talk Radio, the website, and just minimize the, you know, lower the volume all the way so that they can type and talk and do stuff in Blog Talk. And then they would just open another web page with my video streaming that we had at Pastor Dowell's streaming, where me and him were both talking to people. We had quite a few people watching, by the way, and calling in, a bunch of people on hold for a good while, which I'm going to try to address. I mean, we had some people really holding, which is pretty cool to see people that patient to get on and talk and stuff. So I'm going to try not to leave people on hold, you know, what I call eternal hold, unless it's some kind of jerk and I recognize the phone number or something, you know, that which I'm not going to right away because I'm doing this the first time. But Bozo Beast, if you're out there, you can call in. I won't hang up on you. Now, if it starts getting real, you know, we start throwing blows back and forth, I may have to hang up at that point, because I got to keep my show clean and on topic. But you're welcome to call. You're welcome to call in if you want. I don't hate. I'm not a hater. But in case y'all are wondering, I mentioned his name is Duh Obese Beast from YouTube. We have a bet going behind the scenes ever since silver crashed from 50 down to 32, and then of course now it's back up to 41, 42. And he's saying silver will not be $50 before the year ends, 2011. In other words, January 1st, 2012, there's not going to be, you know, or technically December 31st, 2011, we will not be seeing $50 again anytime this year, and that's the last day I have to hopefully, you know, win the bet. Excuse me. So, he's my arch enemy, if you will. And I told him we're going to be seeing $50 here shortly. I personally am very curious to see how well September does for gold and silver. Of course, especially silver, because I'm a silver bug. But September so far is looking to be pretty decent. 16 million plus the other 4 million scheduled to get settled somehow throughout September. And again, that doesn't mean everyone's going to say demand delivery. There's going to be people who, of course, oh, wow, silver went up. I made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Great. Give me the paper money, sell my contract. It happens. Again, it's too lucrative. It's so hard for people not to do it because you can play with 10-to-1 leverage. Come up with 10% of the money, and you get to play with the whole 100% worth of physical silver on a piece of paper. So it's easy to make money. It's also very easy to lose that money like that. So we'll see how September goes. Man, I would, I'm not saying we'll see $50 in September, but you never know how much it could rise, seeing the kind of action that's going on so far. Man, would that be pretty interesting to see that happen. So anyways, gotta run. Take care.